Well, good evening. My name is Dr. Adam Nally. I'm a board-certified family physician and a board-certified obesity medicine specialist coming to you live. I think I'm coming to you live. My camera's not on, so I'm assuming it's on, but I can't tell if it's on. I guess it's on because it's broadcasting on the screen. I can see it. I'm assuming that we're live and recording. You'll probably tell me if I'm not. Anyway, my name is Adam Nally, board-certified family physician, board-certified obesity medicine specialist. Been in practice about 20 years in the northwest corner of the Phoenix Valley. And I thought today I would talk to you about the essential facts of life as you grow older. Some facts that become essential that are important to know as we grow older here. And thought we'd answer some questions and just enjoy the last part of the Thursday evening that exists. Hello, Pat Huff from Virginia. It's good to see you. So first thing I thought we'd talk about, let me switch screens here so I can pull it up here. Good evening, Carla. How are you? Some essential facts of life. So fact number one, which is made very clear to me on a regular basis, and if I can pull it up, we'll look at it here, is this. Death is the number one killer in the world. I know you may be worried about COVID-19. You may be worried about auto accidents. You might be worried about gun control, but death is the number one killer. So I thought we could talk about that if you want to. You may find that important. You may not find that important, but that's number one. Number two, some of you may know this, some of you may not, but life is sexually transmitted. Just want you to be aware of that. Important to understand that. Number three is this. Good health is the slowest rate at which one can die. We want good health, yes, but on the flip side, it is the slowest rate that you're going to die. So very important to understand that. Number four, if you give a person a fish, he'll eat for the day. If you teach a person to use the internet, you may not see him for years. My wife, unfortunately, understands that to some degree, and that often becomes the bane of her existence. And occasionally she wishes she taught me to fish, not to use the internet. And let's see, next one. Life is essentially carbohydrate induced. This all started because someone ate an apple. Just putting that out there. All started at the beginning with carbs. Just want you to be aware of that. I'm very much a proponent of a low carbohydrate diet, and that's the reason right there. And lastly, don't worry because old age doesn't last that long. So if you're even stressed out, if you're feeling worried, just remember those few little tidbits of life essentials facts. And we'll go from there. I thought I'd just say hello. Short burst in there. Hope all of you are well. Hey, Patty and Karen and Sharon and Luz is here and Barbara's here and everyone is here. Oh, cool. It's good to see you guys. If you have any questions, pop them in there. I thought I would just, a couple of years ago, I posted this on my blog and thought I would just remind myself and you guys about life's essential facts. One other fact I didn't post there is take a lesson from the weather. It pays absolutely no attention to your criticism. With those that have experienced the tornadoes this week, I'm sure that you can criticize the tornado all you want, but it doesn't care. So hope all is well with you guys there in Tornado Alley and in the country that's been hit by the tornadoes. Anyway, thought I'd just answer some questions. That Adam wasn't a keto doctor. I'm not sure what that means there, Liz. Let's see. Oh, that Adam. No, that Adam, that was Eve, and and there was an issue with an apple. That's all I'm going to say there. All right. Hello from Wyoming. Love this. Yes, it was funny, wasn't it? All right. Hello in Austin, Texas. There's Sharon. Let's see who else is out here. We got Kathy and Bill and Jennifer and Mitzi. Hey, how's Mitzi and Debbie? Well, pop any questions in there if you guys have. I didn't really have much more than just a few little humorous tidbits of life facts that I thought I would bring up this evening. If you got any burning questions, please let me know, and I'll see if I can answer them for you. I cannot answer individual medical questions, but I can answer them generally. So pop them in there if you got one. Let me see if there's any that are popping up here. I know there's a bit of a delay behind what I'm doing and what the questions that pull in here. Hello from Long Island, and hello from Texas. There's a Dina, and let's see here. There's a couple people from Texas. Kathy's here from Beeville, Texas. And let's see. If you don't like the weather, it will change. That is another truism. It really is. Let's see. In the 60s, people took acid and the world to make the world feel better, and now the world is. Let me rephrase that. In the 60s, people took acid to make the world feel weird. Now the world is weird and people take Prozac to make it feel normal again. So that's another little truism if you like the weather truism. All right, and let me see if there's anyone else. Do I ever eat any fruit? If so, what kind? Let me go back to the screen so it pops up correctly. Oh, wow, the questions are flying in here now. Wow. All right, so the question was asked by Jennifer, do I ever eat any kind of fruit? The only kind of fruit I ever eat is about a half cup of berries. If I want some berries and cream, that's usually the snack that I eat. Other than that, I don't really eat any other fruit. I really don't. I don't care much. I don't care the way it makes me feel. Hello, Natalie. How are you? Here from Chicago, worked 6 to 4. Now headed back for the graveyard to the hospital. Oh, bless your heart. Hang in there, Julia. Hope you're well, and good luck to you there. Let's see. Stay healthy and stay well. Wear your PPE. Hello from California. Hey, Vicky. How do you stay on keto during this stressful time? If I don't eat keto, I feel horrible. I've learned over the last 16 plus years of doing this that if I cheat, I'll feel good for maybe 15 minutes. But that period of euphoria that occurs because of the carb load, I pay for it for the next 48 hours because of joint aching, fatigue. I feel like I have a hangover. I've done it enough times where I've cheated that I really don't care for it. And I know that I feel better if I eat good, and I can handle stress better if I'm eating good. I really can. So I don't, if you're one that uses food to handle stress, you're using sugar or carbohydrate like an opiate. And so when I started looking at the fact that I use food for fuel and not food for a release, then you start to do better. So, and journaling, keeping a food journal actually helps solve that significantly. I found that it took me about 3 or 4 months, and then I would journal. I would write down what I was going to eat, and then at that night I would write down if I did what I planned to do, and if I didn't do what I planned to do, I wrote down why. I wrote down how I felt and why I decided not to do it. And I often found that it was either poor planning, that I was stressed out, or that I was bored. And I found that if that happens, there were certain triggers for me to eat, and that helped me realize why I was picking food, and that I could do other things to handle the stress instead of eating food. How many of your vitamins should I take? I think my stomach's protesting. I would start with 2 to 3 and do that for 2 to 3 weeks if the B vitamins are upsetting your stomach, and then after about 3 or 4 weeks, go up to 6 if you can handle it. If 6 is still too much, do 2 to 4 per day. Some people will do 2 for a month, and then 4 for a month, and then 6 for a month. Hey, I'm in keto since November. Don't have a lot to do. Well, I don't quite know if I understand what the last part of that means, but that's awesome. Let's see. Dr. Nally, big howdy from Wichita Falls, Texas. Well, hello, Nina, pardon me. Did you hear DHS said fresh air and sunshine is great? Yeah, I thought we knew that. Yes. Is MTHFR included in the DNA sites like Ancestry? I'm told that it is in the people in the United States that get it tested. I have not looked closely at the Ancestry.com DNA testing, but the people that have brought me in data, MTHFR was on there in the U.S. I don't know about outside countries or countries outside the U.S. Pardon me. Oops, belly fat. Can't seem to lose it. Suggestions. Jeff saying in keto, but having trouble with belly fat. So just because your body's producing ketones doesn't mean you're going to access fat from the fat cell. Number one, you can actually, if I give you as exogenous ketones and you eat a donut, your ketones will be up, but you won't lose weight because the insulin spike will actually cause you to hang on to the fat you have. So number one, you need to make sure that you've got the carb levels low enough that the insulin's normalizing, and that you're not taking in sweeteners or crappy food or keto treats that are actually stimulating a higher insulin response than you actually need. Number two, hormone levels. If your thyroid's off, if your female hormones or male hormones are off, that can inhibit you from seeing successful fat loss. Number three, if you're drinking your fat calories, will inhibit it. Once you become keto adapted after the second to third month, your body becomes really efficient at absorbing fat. And the problem is that if I've got a fat cell right here and I put fat in through my coffee, let's say I have patients that put butter, heavy cream, and MCT oil because the bulletproof people told them to in their coffee. There's actually probably more fat in their coffee than there is in 12 hamburger patties. And so the problem is that then they drink that. Well, that's more fat than your body can function off the fuel in that fat for days. And it's not a calorie issue, but the issue is that you've now absorbed that fat into the bloodstream, and before the body can cycle it out, you've basically told the fat cells, we got plenty, don't open them up, don't dump anything out. So if you're taking in too much fat, then that can do it too. So we want you to eat until you're full, and fat is satiating. But I usually tell people let the food come in a normal, natural form, in the form of red meat, pork, bacon, egg, sausage, because you're getting protein and fat together, and you're going to be filled up with protein and filled up with fat instead of just purely filled up with fat. And I have people that drink fat in their coffee and they won't eat all day long, and they go, I'm fasting and it's great because I put all this fat in my coffee. Well, basically, you've just shut off your hunger drive with the fat, but you're protein deficient and the body thinks it's starving and it holds on to the fat. So be wary of that. That's often a culprit. Or you're drinking tea, leaf-based teas, black tea, green tea, oolong tea. That's often another culprit that stops the belly fat from disappearing. Or your testosterone's low. All right. Tracy says, I think I remember one of our appointments that you said there is some food that increases insulin without increasing glucose. Yes, there are foods that do that. Some of the essential amino acids do that. So if I have a person who's horrendously insulin resistant, what I mean by that is when you fast, normally your fasting insulin should be 5 or less. Now the lab says normal fasting insulin is up to 20, and that's wrong. Because the only people I see that have fasting insulins above 5 are all type 2 diabetics, or literally on the fence for diabetes. They're pre-diabetic. If your fasting insulin is, let's say, 30 or 40, which I've seen, those patients, if they eat chicken or sea lion liver or a lot of shrimp, which has a high arginine content, those proteins and amino acids in those proteins will stimulate a slightly larger insulin response. And they actually may not see weight loss because of the higher protein content in those foods. I commonly see that. And so when I change them up from doing predominantly a chicken in their diet or turkey to more red meat and eggs, they actually start to lose weight again. So arginine, leucine, tryptophan, lysine, those 4 amino acids, those are essential amino acids. If you're eating foods that are more predominantly or higher in those, and you're horribly insulin resistant, that may be inhibiting. Now, I don't see that happen as you become less and less insulin resistant. I hope that clarifies it. I've had people say, you're wrong. Protein's fine. You got all the protein you want. If you're not insulin resistant, absolutely. But if you're horrendously insulin resistant, that's why I see a lot of 300-pound women who are afraid of fat eating large amounts of chicken not lose weight. Because their trainer says, eat chicken and work out, and they don't lose any weight. Well, if we switch them up to beef, which has less arginine in it, they actually see less of an insulin response, and it allows them to lose weight faster. I hope that's clear. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Good evening from Casper. Is that Casper, Wyoming, Mary? Let's see. How can I kill my appetite? Julie, you need to find out why what your appetite's from. Are you actually hungry because you're not eating enough fuel? Or are you bored, or are you stressed? Or is there a hormone imbalance, which it could be any of those. You got to get those checked out. I get sick the few times I went over in carbs. I do too. Finally coming to your office in May. Cool, Gail. Look forward to seeing you. You start with my PA, and then you can see me after that. That's awesome. What is your favorite cocktail? In regards to alcohol, I don't drink alcohol, Judy. Let's see. Would you say that you're more a carnivore than I am? Carnivore about 99% of the time, 95% of the time. Let's see. Food no longer helps with stress, makes it worse. So exercise helps with the stress. And if you're highly stressed, we find that ensuring that you're having protein and fat in the morning when you first wake up stabilizes your brain function, so you're less stressed through the day. So those people who are highly stressed, I find that they don't do well with the fasting, the intermittent fasting. They do better by taking some protein and fat in the morning and protein and fat with their next meal. Doing 2 or 3 meals that way. But when they first wake up, putting protein and fat in the system helps with that stress and anxiety for those of you that are very anxious. Do you know what causes cherry angiomas, little red dots on the skin? One of them, Dorinda, one cause is genetics, and the other cause is excessive alcohol intake. Those are the 2 most common causes. Can your vitamins be ordered online? Absolutely. Go to Keto. That's actually where they're at mainly. I run out so fast in my office, I have a hard time keeping them in my office. So go to ketoliving.com, and you can order them online, and they actually give you a discount if you order them online, because they give you if you sign up for the auto ship. Since getting my CGM, continuous glucose monitor, I realized that a hot shower increases your glucose. That's actually normal, Tracy. A hot shower, the heat, it causes you to shunt blood to the surface of the skin, and it actually does raise the glucose a little bit because it's a stress response. I'm doing better on keto, can't go out to eat, cooking at home. Good for you, Joyce. That's awesome. Tell me one more time why I want or need your multivitamin. because I made it, Mary. I should say Marianne, because it's mine. That's why you should want it or need it, because Dr. Nally recommended it. That's obnoxious, isn't it? Because it was designed specifically for the insulin-resistant or diabetic patient in mind. So it has additional components that help to stabilize blood sugar, that help to stabilize leptin, that help to stabilize cravings, that help to stabilize mitochondrial dysfunction, and help to balance out the patients, 60% of which have an MTHFR deficiency. There are at least 10 reasons why my vitamin it was designed above and beyond the standard Centrum or multivitamin you pick up from the grocery store. Is glutathione good for hereditary spherocytosis? I don't know the answer to that, Donna. I'd have to look that one up. I don't see enough hereditary spherocytosis to really know if glutathione plays a role there. My assumption is that glutathione is going to help most disease processes because of its stability in inflammation and stability in mitochondrial function. But I would have to look that up because I don't know if that's truly going to play a role there. Hello from Iowa. How are you, Raymond? Good to see you. That's my problem then. I use heavy whipping cream, MCT, and Kerrygold butter in your coffee. Well, stop it. Stop doing that. I know I've seen you on here before, and I usually tell people, do not drink your calories. I think I stole that, from Maria Emmerich. She used that phrase all the time, and I thought it was awesome. So that's Maria Emmerich's phrase. Don't drink your calories. Seriously. If you're drinking your calories. Now, let me back up. When I was on Keto Talk with Jimmy Moore, and we did a lot of talking, we talked a lot about eating all the fat you wanted. That works for the first 3 months. And the reason is that you haven't fully fat adapted. And a lot of people are ravenously hungry in those first 3 months. And so we allow them to eat unlimited amounts of fat because it satiates the cravings for carbs. But what happens is once they keto adapt by around the 3rd month, their weight loss slows down. And then we have to start being cautious that we're not drinking our fat calories because it tastes so good. And so because it slows the drive of pulling fat from the fat cell because there's already fat in the bloodstream. MCT oil and Kerrygold butter and heavy whipping cream, a significant component of the medium chain triglycerides in those fats are pulled right from the gut into the portal vein of the liver and are immediately available for fuel. And so if you're driving your car down the road and you've got a portable gas tank continually filling your car, it will never pull from the gas tank of your car because it'll pull from what's coming into the car already. There's no drive to pull from the storage tank. You have to turn off the input so you start pulling from the storage tank. Does that make sense? I hope so. How many grams of protein do I need at 188 pounds? Raymond, we don't calculate protein need by weight. We calculate it by your height. You can go to my website, docmuscles.com, and look up, type in protein, and it'll bring up the picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and there's a protein calculator in there on the blog site. I've also done multiple videos on this. So if you're watching this on YouTube, click on the protein videos in the Keto 101 sections. So no tea, no leaf-based tea, Angela. You can have herbal teas, but no leaf-based tea. Leaf-based teas actually stimulate an insulin response and halt weight loss. And I know other keto guys have said, that's not true, but I check insulin levels and I check small dense LDL particle and triglycerides. And I guarantee you 100% of the time when the small dense LDL particle is elevated and the triglycerides are elevated and the person's got a perfect keto diet, it's always green tea or black tea that's doing it. And as soon as they take the green tea or black tea out, their small dense LDL particle normalizes, their triglyceride normalizes, their CRP normalizes, and they start losing weight again. And I've seen that literally over and over and over and over for 16 years. So when people say, it's not the green tea, it's just fine, I'll say, fine, come watch me in my practice and watch what happens. We take out the green tea, people lose weight. The black tea, they lose weight. The sun tea, they lose weight. I know I'm rambling. How do you get your daily amount of salt while keto? I try to get 2 to 4 teaspoons of red salt, but it's hard. If I start feeling a little fatigued, I put some in my hand and I pop it in my mouth and I chase it with water. That's what I do. How do you know if you are insulin resistant? If you have skin tags on your body, you're insulin resistant. If you have a fasting insulin over 5, you're insulin resistant. If you have a triglyceride over 100 or 150, you're insulin resistant. If you have a triglyceride to HDL triglyceride ratio of greater than 3.0, you're insulin resistant. I could go on. If you have acanthosis, now you're cancer, you're insulin resistant. If you have a fasting blood sugar over 95, you're probably insulin resistant. We used to say 100. I now think it's 95 or higher. What about herbal teas? Herbal teas are fine, Michelle. Dang, I had chicken last night and shrimp tonight. So Nita, if you're not horrendously insulin resistant, it's not a big deal. I had chicken at lunch. But if you're notably insulin resistant, if you have a waist circumference that's higher than 40 or 45, then you probably need to you limit the chicken and the shrimp. So if you can't have them, just limit them. Hello, just tuning in. Can imbalanced sex hormones stall weight loss? Yes, Jill, every single time they'll stall weight loss. If you're estrogen dominant, it'll stall weight loss. If you're progesterone dominant, it'll stall weight loss. If you're testosterone dominant, which we call PCOS, it'll stall weight loss. So you got to get your hormones checked. And I've done blogs and I've done YouTube videos on that. So check those out. Go to darkmuscles.com. You can click on the blog or go to YouTube/Dr. Nally. If you're not watching it there already. Have I ever been to Albuquerque? Multiple times, Raymond. I've given a number of talks in Albuquerque. Good evening, Yvonne and Surprise. How are you? Is there a different Casper than Wyoming? There was Casper the Friendly Ghost. But no, I don't know of any other Caspers cities that I've been to. Thoughts on testosterone replacement therapy? I recommend it for those that need it. Good evening from Kansas City. Hey, Cynthia, how are you? How do you feel about intermittent fasting to help insulin resistance? If you're doing a ketogenic or carnivore diet correctly, intermittent fasting will be natural. It will occur naturally. Yes, I'm a fan of it. I just got your berberine yesterday, so it helps cholesterol too. Yes, it does. It is not a cholesterol pill, but it stabilizes insulin, which allows you to see a lowering of the small insoluble particle and the triglyceride. Greetings and salutations from up north Michigan. Oh, cool. Thank you, Paula. All right, which vitamin should we take? You have many choices. So the Keto Essentials multivitamin is the basic multivitamin that I use in my practice myself and with my patients. So with your vitamins, which one is it best to take them? I take 3 with breakfast and 3 with lunch. Or I would not take them too late in the evening because they have an ECGC extract, which can keep some people awake. So I take them maybe midday and afternoon, or breakfast and dinner, or breakfast and lunch, but not dinner. When I fast, I get mean. Then you're getting hangry, huh? Totally defeats the spiritual purpose. Could that be a sign of insulin resistance? So, Catherine, if you're fasting and you get angry, it probably means that you're getting hypoglycemic, and you're probably insulin resistant. And you need to. One of the benefits of doing keto is it mimics fasting and helps your body get past that hypoglycemic phase that can take anywhere from 7 to 10 days to really move past. What are your thoughts on chicken skin, little bumps on the back of the arm? I've heard it's related to gluten. Actually, no, that's related to, it's called Keratosis Pilaris. I did a whole video on this. And it is related to mitochondrial dysfunction and some dysfunction in the B vitamins. And I did a whole video about it. And it often relates to, let me see if I can pull up my vitamin. I might have to see if I can share it with you. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. I'll actually show you the image because I think I might have it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm thinking Keratosis Pilaris is the bumpy chicken skin on the back of the arms that a lot of people see or have. And let me see if I can animate. I'm going to bring this in from the current page there. Oops, from current slide, and then let me see if I can pull in this video here. Oh, let's see if I can do it. I'm going to try to pull it in here. Where is it? So if you have a vitamin deficiency, this is one of the talks I'm working on here. Let me see. Oh, why is it not pulling in? There it is. Share screen. Slideshow. There it is. Pull that up. Okay, so here it is, and I will show this in the stream. So, and I realize it's probably small, and I'm going to close Stephanie's note here. And because if I turn myself off, the sound will disappear. So let me see if I can do it in. Oops. Oh, there we go. Hopefully sound is still there. So if we're looking, I don't know if you can see my mouse here. These are all if you have a vitamin deficiency, vitamin B, and these are all water soluble. And then these are the fat-soluble vitamins here. If you have deficiencies in any of these, you can get some of these symptoms that arise in that regard. And so this keratomalacia right here, or follicular hyperkeratosis, is also called is also the chicken skin. It's usually a vitamin A deficiency. So if a person has keratosis pilaris, or what we call follicular hyperkeratosis, it's a vitamin A deficiency, and they need to replace the retinol or the retinoic acid. That's something that's often the deficiency. I often see this in vegans and vegetarians because they don't eat animal fat and they don't get enough vitamin A in their diet. So very important. So something to consider. You've just had your lesson on vitamin deficiencies. Isn't that exciting? Hopefully you like that. I hope that answers the question for you. Let's see, greeting from Chicago. Well, hello, Gina. How are you? Been carnivore now for 4 months. Blood pressure down to 112. That's awesome, Brad. I love to hear that. I was die-hard keto for 3 years. By die-hard, I mean I checked my blood daily. Was above 1 millimole on ketones, I'm assuming. Okay, then I decided to start eating carbs to some degree. The big one was bread. I read that someone off gluten for a while can become gluten sensitive. Here's my question. My upper arms now ache because at night, if I lay my arms above my head, tell me I didn't find anything. That's not a gluten intolerance. If it's occurring with position, in most cases, it's a cervical dysfunction in the neck and either arthritis or disc bulge. And so I would say have either a neurologist or someone that understands how to treat dysfunctions in the neck, bones, and nerves. Evaluate that. Those would be things I would start looking for in that regard. Good evening from Whitman. Hello, Julie. Let's see. It's all about the mitochondria. Yes, it is. It is all about the mitochondria. No leaf-based teas. Herbal is okay. Yes. Gail's responding to Angela's question. Go inject yourself with disinfectant. Well, that's very kind of you, Rachel. I appreciate that. I enjoy bulletproof coffee. Can I combine that with a can of sardines? Well, you can combine it, but if you're trying to lose weight, it won't work. If you're stalled out, it's usually the bulletproof coffee, the fat in the coffee. Shoot, I don't know the difference. I'll have to look it up. I'm not sure what I'm sure that's one of the questions back a little ways. Previously asked about taking AREDs for myopic macular degeneration. If I take your vitamins, what extra vitamins would I need for the eye health? Usually it's the vitamin A and the vitamin E and the vitamin B6 and 12 that are in those AREDs. Those are all in my vitamin. I don't think there's anything specifically more. The dosages usually are higher with the ophthalmologist vitamins, but you're treating specific disease in that case rather than just usually. My vitamin is more of a general multivitamin, but oftentimes if you're treating macular degeneration, you're using higher levels of A, which you have to be careful with. Herbal teas are okay. Yes. Marianne says I have Doc's vitamins and feel good taking them. Oh, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Can you eat too much protein? Remember, you can, especially if you're more insulin resistant. If you're physically active, though, you may actually need more protein. So that protein load, and it also depends on the type of protein, as I mentioned earlier. Hopefully that answered the question earlier. Coffee is fine. Black coffee does not seem to raise insulin. Black coffee has about 50 different metals in it in trace amounts. So does coffee play a role in other issues? There are some pros and there's some cons to it. But from the perspective of does coffee stop your weight loss? If it's black, no, not that I've seen. Ramble on. I will do that. Thank you, Eric. Let's see here. What sweeteners do you recommend on the keto diet? I wrote a whole blog post on that. And so if you go to my website at docmuscles.com, you can actually, and you click on and you see the little menu bar and it says freebies. Click on the freebies button, scroll down, and there's a whole article about which sweeteners are okay, which ones aren't. Go there and you can get a copy of it for freebie. It's a freebie. Stopped green and black tea, like you said, during the appointment, and the scale moved. Yes, it did. That's awesome. Glad to hear that, Mark. I'm so excited to hear that. Hello, Kelly in Massachusetts. Did you have a good day today? It was a rough day today. Let's see. How about DHEA keto? DHEA keto is great, but too much DHEA, if you don't need it, will cause acne. So be aware of that. Hello from Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for taking the time. You're welcome, Margie. Any vitamins that only do one pill a day? Not any good ones that I'm aware of, Mary. Or Morris, pardon me. McChrist, pardon me. I always do that, McChrist. I'm sorry. Brad says, hi, doc. Blood pressure's down. Very happy. I think your dog was hypertensive before. Very happy you think your dog was hypertensive before being carnivore. Can a person on dialysis take your vitamins? They can. How is your sugar? How low is it supposed to be? Well, normally the body will try to keep the blood sugar somewhere between 70 and 95. Going down to 60 for some people is just fine. Occasionally when I'm doing longer fasts, I'll hit 58, but anything lower than 60 routinely is probably too low. So if I take your multivitamin, should I drop B12? Absolutely. You don't want to do too many Bs. You can actually be B6 toxic. So if you use my multivitamin, you don't need additional Bs, if that makes sense. I thought you said that was vitamin A needed for the skin issue. It is vitamin A, retinoic acid. I am eating carnivore right now because if I eat anything green, my mouth burns. I would have to examine that one, Adrian. I don't know the answer there. There's a whole slew of things that could do that. And I would have to do an exam and take some history there because that's a good question. Burning mouth syndrome could be related to niacin deficiency, but there's a whole slew of things we want to look at. What can I put in my coffee to wean myself off? I love my morning coffee. Do well with no sugar and low carbs. Love the bacon, chicken. I don't drink coffee, so that's one of the challenges. Is I don't know what to tell people otherwise. If you don't like black coffee, then drink water. But I just tell people, if you have to put something in your coffee, put the spoon in, stir it, and then drink it. How about taking DHEA keto? DHEA keto is basically DHEA, and if your body uses DHEA to handle stress and to make some of the sex hormones, but if you overdose DHEA, like I said, it can give you acne. I was diagnosed with heart disease, started keto. Do you have any special keto diet recommendations for people with cardiac events? I wrote a whole chapter on that in my book there, Russ. There is a whole chapter in the Keto Cure on cardiac disease and how to approach keto how to approach cardiac disease with the ketogenic diet and lifestyle. All right. Husband was really sick 2 weeks ago, high fever, negative COVID test, blood work showed high liver enzymes, have been low carb 2 years. Is there vitamins that can increase the enzymes? If he had elevated liver enzymes, it was probably because he may have either had hepatitis or a viral infection that irritated his liver. He was taking Tylenol. Tylenol would do it too. At large amounts of Tylenol would absolutely raise liver enzymes. Can you order the vitamins in Canada? I think you can, Karen. I think. I want to say I think you can. Don't quote me, but check and see. If you can't, it'll tell you on there, but it won't let you order them. I know that it limits it to your zip, and if they can't ship to to Canada, then it'll tell you that. I'm pretty sure because someone told me that. I think I have people in Canada that order them. I don't actually do that's another company that actually operates all of that for me. I designed them. I didn't want to have to take care of that stuff. So another company operates that for me, but I'm pretty sure that you can get them in Canada. I think, but check. Why doesn't my blood pressure drop when I'm in ketosis? Because your insulin probably is still too high. Or there's something in your diet that's driving your insulin to stay a little higher in that regard. Can a person on antidepressants lose weight on keto? Absolutely. Your thoughts on the dawn effect? It happens, especially if you cheat the night before. Sorry, doc, I didn't mean to say dog. All right. Why does heavy whipping cream cause rosacea to flare? Because there's still some lactose in it, and that may stimulate your inflammatory changes causing the rosacea to pop up. What are you doing about routine follow-ups? What are you doing about routine follow-ups this month? What are you referring to, Kai? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Let's see. Thanks, Doc. Can you call me you can call me Mary Chris. Oh, I always do that. Mary Chris. All right. And I will see you on the 29th. Awesome. Let's see here. No ghee in the coffee either. Nope, it's still fat. Diet Dr. Pepper instead of coffee with butter. That works, Eric. I'm in Canada and got the vitamins. Oh, Ramona, thank you. I was going to say, I thought there was someone that I thought there was a couple of people who had ordered the vitamins in Canada and that they did ship to Canada. So yes, I think you can do that. So great questions, you guys. Hopefully it answered them. Let's see. Any other questions? Pop them up there. What in regards to Margie's question, what is the dawn effect is that if you have something that raises your insulin as you go to bed at night, the higher insulin will cause your blood sugar to bottom out overnight, and then your liver tries to compensate by overproducing carbs or glycogen, and that raises the blood sugar. So you see a rise in the blood sugar the following morning, or a higher sugar in the morning than you normally would have. That's the dawn effect. It happens with tons of people. It's a natural phenomenon that occurs if you are overeating carbohydrate the night before, or you're taking too much insulin, or a pill that lowers the blood sugar the night before too much. If that makes sense. Hopefully that helps. All right, let's see. I think there's another question that popped up here. Let's see. Sweetener in the sugar-free gum can throw off keto and weight loss. If you chew gum all day long, it probably can, Jill. I've had some patients that they never stop chewing gum, and the xylitol there can stimulate a little bit of an insulin response in those that are horribly insulin resistant. If you chew a piece or two, it's probably not a big deal. Is the diet in your book the same as joining your website plan? No, it isn't. Is the diet in my book the same as joining my website plan? The website plan actually expands with 12 modules beyond what's in the book. I actually go into some pretty significant detail in the modules on the website that's not actually in the book. Hopefully that answers your question. Monk fruit. Okay, no, it's not. Monk fruit is a fructose. That's why it's called monk fruit. It's a fructose, and 50% of the people, myself included, that use monk fruit, it spikes my insulin and it halts my weight loss. You are awesome for answering all these questions. Well, Barbara, thank you. I appreciate that. Where can we get your vitamins? At ketoliving.com. If someone wants to type that in the chat bar, ketoliving.com, I appreciate that. Thanks. Where do I order them from? Oh, that's another one. Are there negative effects from sugar alcohols? Yes, there are. Gastrointestinal gymnastics are the negative effects from too many sugar alcohols. Is there a chart of how many grams of protein per ounce? There is a chart that I give out with my diet, yes. Or you can go online and find it that way. My insulin is down 10 down from 20. Oh, down to 10 from 20. You're shooting for 5. How do I get tested for PCOS? That is a series of blood tests and an ultrasound of your ovaries, Angela. Let's see here. You look tired, Dr. Nally. I am tired. It's been a long week. Let's see. Ketoliving.com is. Thank you, Ariana, for putting it. That's where you can find the website at. I appreciate that, Ariana, for putting that in there. And Deborah put it in there too. And Bob even put it in there. So you guys are awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. We appreciate you guys doing that. I did keto last year and my sugar dropped. Insulin levels I did keto last year and my sugar dropped and insulin levels are better. If I stop keto and start eating carbs, eventually it will. I find that people have a 6-month window of kind of fudge factor. I tell you that with hesitance because there are some of you that are going to cheat thinking, I'm okay for 6 months if I cheat. Not everybody has that happen, but I've had patients that for whatever reason, they were doing really well for a year. They lowered their insulin resistance dramatically. And then when they started cheating again, they expected their sugars to be much worse than they weren't. Now they started gaining weight, but the weight gain was slower and their insulin resistance didn't just rebound overnight. It takes about 6 months to come to for a lot of people. Some are sooner, some are a little slower, but I hesitate to say that out loud because it gives some people reason to cheat, and that's not what I'm trying to tell you. It's great that you can take the time and extra care to read the answers in these questions. Well, some people hate it, Margie, but I found that many people like it, and you actually learn. You know, it's like I used to do group visits in my office, and one of the reasons we did group visits was People actually were more likely to follow a dietary program when they came to a group visit, because at that group visit, someone will ask a question that you may not think about till next week, but you actually get the answer already. So it answers the question that you'll have for next week, and you don't even have a question anymore. So I find that these question and answer sessions are nice for people. They like them. And so I do them, and they're often 30 or 40 minutes long. And some people go, I don't like your videos because you just answer questions, and those people can go read a book. Yes, that's how I feel tonight. Hey, I gave up my PPI this week. Congratulations. That's awesome. The rebound been on Prozac, rebound lasted for just 2 days. Awesome. That's good. So you had some rebound reflux for 2 days and then it cleared up. That's awesome, Marianne. Oh, thank you, Sheila, for putting that in. That's the website for the vitamins. You guys are putting those in. I appreciate that. Gail put it in as well. Any advice on alopecia areata? 24-year-old son having issues on the sides and nape of his head. Get the hormones checked, Sheila. That's the first place I'd look. I'd look at B vitamins. I would look at male hormones. Anything wrong with drinking MCT powder once a day? The same problem with drinking MCT oil in your coffee. It's a fat. It's a medium chain fat. Pulls right into your portal vein, accessible for fuel, decreases the drive for the fat cell to empty the fat. Now, if you are lean and mean, MCT is great because it gives you energy and fuel and really clear-headed. But if you're trying to lose the last little bit of fat around your spare tire, MCT powder is just paying for someone's boat and doing you absolutely no good from the perspective of weight loss. It has many other benefits if you're using them for the other benefits. But for weight loss, all you're doing is buying someone's boat. 2 years ago, you started keto, says Lynn. Developed blood drop tracks under the skin. Blood drop track. I don't know what that means. Have no idea what blood drop tracks are. I have to clarify that a little bit. I'm not quite sure what a blood drop track is. That's a term I've never heard in 20 years. So maybe clarify that. Thank you for taking some. You're welcome, guys. I wish I had a continuous glucose monitor. Go ask your doctor for one. Let's see. Insurance companies won't pay for it unless you're insulin dependent diabetic. So a lot of my patients, we write for it and they pay cash, but you do have to have a prescription for it. Blood went down to 99/62. Is BVB that normal cause? My blood went down to 96/92. Is BVB that normal? Because my doctor says I'm dehydrated when it's low. I'm on half pill blood pressure. I'm not quite sure what I can't answer individual questions about like blood pressure, things like that, because I don't know your background history and you're not actually my patient. And I'm a little confused by what the question is generally. But any blood pressure pill you take can be too strong and lower blood pressure, especially if you're starting the ketogenic diet and you start to lose weight and you start to lose fat. Your body will try to normalize this blood pressure. And if you're on a blood pressure pill, it can actually make your blood pressure go low. I don't know if that's the general question you're asking there, Nelly, but that's what I commonly see. Am I accepting new old patients? New old patients. I am accepting new patients, but my new patients are booked out till October. You can see my PA sooner. But I am accepting new patients. Yes. They don't have to watch. No, they don't have to. Really helps. You're very welcome, Luz. I learned so much from the question and answer sessions. I do too, Cynthia. I really do, actually. I also get to heckle people. It's actually a lot of fun. If I heckle you and I offend you, I'm not trying to offend you. It's just late in the evening after a long day of work. And it's either that or I become cynical like Dr. House. People who don't like the question and answer sessions suffer from rectal cranial inversion. Yeah, they might. There's a surgery for that, but it's kind of painful. Hopefully you get some rest. Thank you for your commitment to us. You're welcome. Let's see here. Hey, Doc. Hey, Belinda. How are you? Good to see you. Your live feeds are awesome. Thank you for doing them. My dad is a general practice DO in Prescott. Is he really? That's awesome, Catherine. Give your dad a big hug. I might know him. Let's see here. Thank you. Incredible info. What's your website for the free? So go to docmuscles.com and then click on the freebie section, and it'll be exciting for you. In fact, I might even let's do this. Let's go to Doc. I'm testing out this software. Let's see if this works. So if you go to docmuscles.com, and I'm going to pull in the screen here, and let me see if I can share this. So I'm going to show this in the stream. I'm going to pull this to here. So if you go to my, I'm going to turn this off so you can see it. So if you go to my, you can see my mouse right here. Go to the freebie section right here on docmuscles.com and go down to, and if you want to buy my book, it's right there. That's the pop-up that reminds you, hey, Dr. Nally has a book. And it's a good book, by the way. Go to the Skinny on Sweeteners, and if you click on this, it will actually take you to, maybe. Oh, it's my computer's thinking. It'll take you to my section on the Skinny on Sweeteners, and the article is right there. It's very there for you. And the website is running really slow right now on my computer because I'm live streaming at the same time. But hey, look, there's this really handsome guy there. Anyway, it's getting later, and I'm getting more obnoxious and more slap happy. So anyway, that's where you can find the Sweetener article for free. Hopefully you'd like that. Or it's just so obnoxious you turned it off and you went to bed. So have a good night. All right. Let's see. Black coffee starts tomorrow, says Vicky. Oh, very good. Let's see. You're up in New Jersey at 11:30 p.m. Oh my gosh, Angela. Have a good night. Let's see. You're very welcome, you guys. Have a good evening. Jeff and D's going to do black coffee. And there's Terry. Hey, Terry, how are you? It's good to see you. Let's see. Maybe new former patients would have been a better way to word it. Oh, a former patient who's new. Oh, yes, I still take them. Yes, absolutely. I think I knew you were talking about that, but I had to give you a hard time. All right. Appreciate all you do. Oh, thank you very much, Jeff and D. That's great. And you even appreciate my sense of humor. Oh, I appreciate that too. All right, let's see here. Unfortunately, surgery for rectal cranial inversion is considered elective surgery and cannot be performed. In Arizona, they're opening up elective surgeries May 1st, I was told. So next week, if you need a cranial rectal inversion, you can get it next week. You actually can in Arizona. You might have to come to Arizona for it, but yeah. And there's a great neurosurgeon that I'm sure could help with it. Have your book. It's really good. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. All right. Great article on sweeteners. Yes. Refer your friends there. It's awesome. Oh, hey, Leanne. Thank you for saying that. Leanne has read it twice. I know that she has. We've had some good conversations about the sweetener article. All right. What time is it in Arizona? It is 8:39 p.m. in Arizona. Berkeley says, Berkeley asked the question. All right. And then you're welcome for the videos. I hope they help. Do you accept Medicare and TRICARE for life? I do. Have a wonderful night. All right, you guys, I am going to go to bed. Nelly, have a good evening. Thank you for your comments, all of you. Thank you for joining on with me and listening to my obnoxious humor, even if I'm tired. Hopefully it's been fun for you. It's always fun for me. I enjoy these. These are a lot of fun. So remember, keep the fat high. Don't put it in your coffee, though. Use real food to keep the fat high. That means bacon, cook with butter, ribeyes, things like that. It doesn't mean butter-filled coffee. Keep the fat high naturally. Keep the carbs low and pass the bacon. And have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys. Good night.